Our next honoree tackles what is arguably the critical issue of our time, the climate of our planet, and the challenges we all face to eliminate greenhouse gas emissions. This book offers solid advice as to how climate-concerned citizens can be more effective and how they can and should be demanding more from their politicians. This is The Citizen's Guide to Climate Success, Overcoming Myths That Hinder Progress, written by Mark Jaccard and published by Cambridge University Press.
Humanity has failed for 3 decades to eliminate planet-threatening greenhouse gas emissions. Yet still, most climate-concerned citizens don't know what to do personally or what to demand from their politicians. On one side, they continuously hear they must change everything about their lifestyles and economy. No more eating meat, driving cars, plane trips, even no more market economy or economic growth. Then on the other side, they're bombarded with political and corporate messaging about how the next fossil fuel project, an oil pipeline, a natural gas project is essential for their economy. My book helps explain to non-experts what virtually all experts agree on, that the simple path to climate success might still involve using fossil fuels, but only if we use them without emitting carbon dioxide, which we're technically able to do. Fortunately, we can eliminate greenhouse gas emissions without destroying our economy or completely transforming our behavior and economic system. We just need to stop the open burning of coal, oil products, and natural gas. But for that to happen, we need more climate-concerned citizens to see this simple truth. And that's why I wrote The Citizen's Guide to Climate Success, Overcoming Myths That Hinder Progress.
Hi, my name is Taya Coper, and I'm a Master of Public Policy candidate at the Monk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy, where I was also the executive producer of the radio show called Beyond the Headlines, which is a weekly radio show on CIUT 89.5 FM that makes public policy issues more accessible to everyday Canadians. So today I would like to ask Mark Jaccard a few questions about his new book, The Citizen's Guide to Climate Success, Overcoming Myths That Hinder Progress. Firstly, is there a particular myth that stands out in terms of it being especially harmful to progress on climate action, and thus in need of even more of our attention compared to some of the other myths outlined in the book?
Hi, Taya. Hope it's okay that I highlight 2 key myths out of the many. First is the belief that renewable energy is already cheaper than fossil fuels. I hear this a lot, but it's rarely true. We need every new electricity plant in the world to be zero emission, but natural gas plants are often the cheaper option. We also need every new car and truck to be electric, hydrogen, or biodiesel, but gasoline and diesel made from oil are usually cheaper. When well-meaning people spread the myth that renewables are cheaper than fossil fuels, they keep us on our planet-destroying fossil fuel path. Why? Because this myth about cheap renewables lets climate-insincere politicians off the hook. It allows them to claim that renewables will replace fossil fuels without requiring carbon taxes and regulations. But in fact, these politically difficult policies are essential, and they know it. The second key myth is the belief that all countries will voluntarily agree on a fair sharing of the cost of greenhouse gas reduction, and that for the next 3 decades, not one country will renege on its commitment. Crazy as this sounds, our global climate negotiations are based on this premise, that no country will ever again elect political leaders who put their country above the global interest. In future, will there really be no Trumps or Putins? A climate agreement must include automatic economic sanctions on any climate laggard country. Carbon tariffs are usually what we mean by an economic sanction. But instead of working on that, we annually spin our wheels at international negotiations that assume voluntary cooperation by all countries for the next 3 decades. This myth has already cost us 25 years of global failure, and it mustn't continue. Thanks for your interest in my book, Taya, and for your great question. Hi. There's a long list of people I can thank, of course, and they're listed in the book's acknowledgments. So I think I'll be more general and not name names in this thank you. The list, of course, includes my partner, my adult children, colleagues, helpful reviewers, my editor at Cambridge, and especially the many graduate students who've contributed their critical thinking and research skills over a span of many years, especially in a graduate course that I teach in the School of Resource and Environmental Management at Simon Fraser University. So that's where a lot of the ideas and thoughts in this book get generated and refined after I come back to them, with my tail between my legs from another session of advising politicians and public servants, and with small bits of progress and sometimes not so much. More recently, I want to thank Sheila Kay and Sherry Naylor of Naylor and Associates with their organizational work at the Donner Prize. And this is because of their generous offer to send to us finalists the books of the other 4 finalists. And I say this because while I haven't yet had the time to read all of the other 4 books cover to cover, I have spent considerable time on them, scanning through them, reading key sections in the last few weeks since receiving them. And this has been a fun, eye-opening experience. It's made me feel humbled and honored to be listed with such a group of thinkers and writers. And in that, I include the book of Maurice Cousson. A very long time ago, I did my doctoral thesis in France, in French. And so, of course, I read French, but I haven't read a book in French for about 10 years. And so this motivated me to read his book, which I was very impressed with and talk about a lot to other people. So just a great idea of Sheila and Sherry, and thank you for that. So what I'm getting at is that, well, of course, I hope to win this prize. I'm actually just really happy to be among this impressive group of authors. So my congratulations to my fellow authors on being shortlisted for the Donner Prize. That's something that we can all celebrate together. Who knows, perhaps one day in person. Thank you.